Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, in this video I'm going to be talking about 10 movies that I watched for the first time of the month of May 2023. So yeah, that being said, these were all first time watches for me that I really enjoyed. So yeah, gonna get straight into it and talk about the first one. So yeah, the first movie I've picked, which I watched for the first time this month, was an animated movie that I'd heard a few things about, and I was really intrigued to check this movie out. So it was made by the creators of Watership Down as well, and that is The Plague Dogs. Like I said, heard about this movie through the grapevine and wanted to check it out for myself and see what it was like, and I really enjoyed it. It was really bleak. I think definitely the fact that this movie is associated with Watership Down, you kind of know what you're getting into. But yeah, I thought this movie was, if not possibly bleaker than Watership Down, and it was just a really good movie. It's an animated movie that isn't for the faint of heart, definitely not. But yeah, it's one that's definitely worth checking out if you've got the stomach for it. And I just really enjoyed it. Sort of follow these two dogs that escape from this animal testing center, and you just see some really horrific stuff in this film. But yeah, I really enjoyed it for what it was. So that's my first pick, The Plague Dogs. Next up, we've got a movie with Sean Connery and Wesley Snipes that I'd heard of but never seen before, and that is Rising Sun. I enjoyed this early 90s action movie for what it was. Just, yeah, it was everything I expected it to be. Didn't disappoint, and yeah, I just had a hell of a time with it. It was just really silly, really over the top. The two main leads in it have great chemistry, and it was a lot of fun. I know this is probably one on the list that might be a bit popular, but yeah, I had never seen it before and decided to give it a go, and yeah, just really enjoyed it for what it was. So that is Rising Sun. Next up was a buddy cop movie from the mid 80s. I think 86 this came out. And that is Running Scared with Gregory Hines and Billy Crystal. Yeah, similar to Rising Sun, the two leads had great chemistry in this. This had some amazing action sequences and set pieces in it, which I really enjoyed. But yeah, it was a lot of fun, really over the top, everything you'd expect from an 80s buddy cop film. The movie just didn't disappoint for me. But yeah, there's another movie called Running Scared, I think with Paul Walker, that came out, I think in the 2000s. That movie's still really good, but yeah, it's not to overshadow this one, which has the same title. But yeah, really had fun with this one. So that is Running Scared. Next up, we've got this awesome sort of cop horror film that I really enjoy. I found this movie out on the In Search of Darkness Part 3 documentary, and this stars Judd Nelson, and that is Relentless. Yeah, really awesome concept to this film. You've got Judd Nelson who wants to become his cop, but he gets turned down, pretty much because of how he is, his psychological state that he's in. So he ends up going around basically killing people, and it was just an awesome concept. Really enjoyed this film. Yeah, it was just absolutely brilliant. Really violent in parts as well, and great to see Judd Nelson in a film like this. So yeah, I thought this movie was really kick-ass. So that is Relentless. Next up, we've got a movie that was recommended to me by my good buddy Mike over at Summer Axeman, and this stars James Woods, and that is Cop. Kind of similar to Relentless. This is like a cop movie where James Woods is like on the trail of this murderer, but no one really sort of seems to believe that the that the murderer exists. He's always stumbles across these gruesome victims that have been just absolutely hacked up, and I just really enjoyed the abrupt ending to this film, and it's really underrated as well. So yeah, I just thought it was fantastic. So that is James Woods in Cop. Next up was a movie recommended to me by Nige over at Rock God 2004. Yeah, he absolutely loved this film and he completely sold me on it, with Charles Bronson, and that is Murphy's Law. Was yeah really getting into sort of Charles Bronson's 80s movies. I really enjoyed Death Wish 2, which was a first time watch for this month as well. And yeah, this movie was kind of cut from the same cloth. Really enjoyed the chemistry with the two leads in this as well. And yeah, Charles Bronson was just brilliant in it. There was a sequence in an airport that took place in the film, and I just thought, my word, that was absolutely brutal. And yeah, it was just so much fun. Really, really enjoyed it. Definitely one worth checking out if you like these types of movies. So yeah, that is Murphy's Law. Next up, we've got a Bruce Willis film from the 90s. And again, another one I really enjoyed. So this is Colour of Night. Just this really cool thriller with Bruce Willis I'd never really even heard of. But I had so much fun with this movie. It was really, really steamy in parts as well, which I just didn't expect, didn't see coming at all. But yeah, it's a Bruce Willis film that kind of goes under the radar in my opinion. And I just really, really had fun with this film for what it was. Yeah, just really, really dug it. So yeah, that is Colour of Night. Next up, we've got a movie. This is sort of more of a comedy from the early 2000s. And I'd never heard of it up until a couple of weeks ago, so I decided to get hold of it. And it stars Charlie Sheen, Angie Harmon, and Denise Richards. And that is Good Advice. So yeah, this pretty much follows Charlie Sheen, who's like a stockbroker who ends up losing his job, and his girlfriend, played by Denise Richards, is this columnist who's writing for this newspaper or magazine, I think it is. And she ends up sort of leaving him and going away on holiday, and her boss, played by Angie Harmon, rings up, and Charlie Sheen pretty much says, "Oh, she's ill. She's not around." So he sort of pretends to write the columns in her place. And yeah, that's pretty much the movie, and everyone sort of ends up respecting him as a writer through her. And yeah, just you can imagine the way this movie goes. John Lovitz is in this movie as well, and he's just absolutely hilarious in it. And yeah, it was just a fun early 2000s comedy with a great cast, and yeah, it was just one I had a lot of fun with. So yeah, that is Good Advice. Next up, we've got a movie with John Cusack and James Spader, and that is True Colours. So yeah, this movie pretty much follows these two friends, played by the two said actors, and they sort of want to get into the world of politics. And as you can imagine, mistrust and backstabbing just ensues in this movie, and it's just wonderfully played out. The actors in it give some great performances as well. And yeah, this is one that's definitely worth checking out. Some fantastic performances, as I said, with a great cast as well. So yeah, if you kind of like those political backstabbing movies that are just sort of well acted, this is definitely one worth checking out. So yeah, that is True Colours. And the last movie I've picked for this month as well was a movie actually directed by and starring Dennis Hopper. The cast of this movie was just absolutely insane. But yeah, this is a movie called Catch Fire. Like I said, directed by Dennis Hopper, starring Dennis Hopper. The movie also has Jodie Foster in it, Charlie Sheen, Joe Pesci, John Turturro, and you've also got cameos in this movie as well by Bob Dylan and Vincent Price, which is just, if that doesn't sell you, I don't know what will. But yeah, this was just absolutely brilliant. It sort of follows Jodie Foster, who witnesses this murder that takes place by Joe Pesci, who's this gangster, and pretty much he gets his people to like follow her and try and hunt her down because they sort of want to bump her off. And they end up hiring Dennis Hopper as this hitman to try and take care of her. But things take a turn when the two leads sort of spend time together. And it was just a really, really cool, suspenseful thriller that I enjoyed. Bit under the radar, but yeah, really, really worth checking out if you've not seen it. So yeah, that is Catch Fire. So yeah, guys, those are my 10 first-time watches for the month of May 2023. So yeah, gonna leave the video there, guys, and say thanks very much for watching. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.